right. Hello. I'm Edson, and this is JV2 Chat. Welcome back. Again, this is just a usual weekly roundup, but I want to cut it into parts. Obviously, I know that the videos that I make are an hour long, and I want to make it shorter just so if it piques anybody's interest, they can just click on the video that they would like. So we'll see. I'll just keep rambling on, but hopefully we just make it into segments like that. And yeah, we'll see. Thank you for everybody else been watching the latest couple of videos. I have obviously the TikTok and the Instagram, which are still there, still posting content on there, and just doing good overall. But again, appreciate everybody who supported so far, and just excited to keep going on the journey. We'll see you. So again, last week we ended on the 30th of January, which that was a Monday. So now having to start back up on Tuesday the 31st, in which we see Coppa Italia quarterfinals, in which we see Inter against Atalanta, and we see Inter win. 1-0 result. Matteo Darmian scoring with Lautaro Martinez assisting, which I saw a stat about Lautaro Martinez, that being that out of Argentina, he's been the most goal contributor or something like that. He's contributed the most goals out of that Argentina squad, which again he didn't have a good World Cup. A lot of people were expecting him to, but he just did not have a good one because top scorer was being shouted and just overall shouts of him somewhat lifting the mantle off of Messi's shoulders. It wasn't that case, and I'm glad that it didn't get shown into full effect, as it could have been an Higuain situation. But obviously, we know that Julian Arbalez was the one that actually turned up and just did amazing. He did very very good, and we just saw Lautaro Martinez falter, at least in that Inter squad. I know that his penalty was very very crucial for that Netherlands game, but in terms of the season, nothing to do, a completely different player, and he's very effective for Inter in at least these last couple of games. Again, he scores against Atlanta and just puts them moving forward, which is just good to see. Again, Coppa Italia, which obviously they aren't in the best of forms, as we know that Napoli is just in full effect um into that league. So he's just amazing to watch, and yeah, a good one for them overall. We see as well in the EFL Cup Newcastle against Southampton, which I said on my last video that I think that's when I said that Newcastle were through. It wasn't the case, as obviously in the semifinal I found out that there is a second leg, but they eventually do go through, and they happen to win the game 2-1, which on aggregate was just 1-0. We saw Sean Longstaff score the goal in the 50th minute, assisted by Kieran Trippier, and then him scoring again, assisted by Miguel Almiron. Which again, the only thing I can say about this team is that it's very very organized, very well chopped, very straightforward. You know what to do. And Eddie Howe is the one that needs to be praised for that because of how crucial he's been for this side. Because some of these players are just not the players that you see being on that top four end, I guess. But Eddie House got them doing wonders, and as well, they got to a cup final. So hopefully we can just see them in full effect in that final and maybe even win it. Who knows? You never know. Maybe even win it. Um, DFB Pokal did start, which again, I'll just go over the matches, which we saw BFB Stuttgart win 2-1, and Berlin win against Wolfsburg 2-1. That was around the 16th, so they just passed through that. For Monday, that was it. Pretty normal average Monday, nothing out of the ordinary that happened. We do move into Wednesday, in which I already see the first match being Bayern Munich against Mainz, which Bayern Munich annihilated Mainz 4-0. And I'm pretty sure this is the game where Cancelo started, which again, The whole situation on Man City. I did a video on my TikTok and talked about it a little more, but the whole situation is just weird. And Bayern Munich got the best deal they could have possibly gotten out of that, in which being they got a world class fullback that can play either or, and just again world class. He provided the first assist, and I don't even know what to say about Pep in that regard, but it's just crazy. Again, Choupo-Moting getting in the end of it, so he continues his good form of run and scoring. Musiala gets the second goal, assisted by Thomas Munier, which again, Musiala, a lot of praise for him as he is one for the future. His dribbling is insane. The weight on this team that he has is insane. He's just slotted in nicely, and very excited as he is one just for the future. Like I said, Leroy Sané scoring the third, assisted by Choupo-Moting, and then Alfonso Davies getting the last, assisted by Kimmich, which again, Bayern Munich just going full throttle and just surpass limits going into the round of 16 and into the next round. We did see a big surprise, which was Cremonese win against Roma 2-1, which again, we know Cremonese beat Napoli, which is pretty outstanding to say the least. Yes, they won the penalties, but they were more clinical on the penalties, so it doesn't matter. They ended up winning it. We did see them score a penalty, and then an own goal was conceded, and they were up 2-0 already by halftime, even further than that. And Roma were just able to scrape a consolation goal in the 94th minute, but it did not matter. Cremonese did what they had to do, and they earned the result, and they just go through. Which again, that is a huge result. They just to beat Napoli and then to beat Roma, and then to be in the semifinal now. It's crazy, and hopefully we do see like that underdog story, which they just go all the way maybe, but we'll see what happens. They already beat two giants of Italy, so yeah. We saw PSG against Montpellier, which they won 3-1. Which again, Mbappe missed the penalty, and then I think on that same, I think this was the game. Mbappe missed the penalty, and then missed or hit the rebound, or then it had to be retaken, and then he missed it again, and then he missed an open goal. Something like that happened, and it just went like that. They got two goals disallowed, and then Fabian Ruiz scored the in the 55th minute, assisted by Hugo Ekitike, which then Lionel Messi gets his goal in the 72nd minute, assisted by Fabian Ruiz. Then Montpellier score, and then Warren Saire Emery scores in the 92nd minute, assisted by Achraf Hakimi, which again, a lot of people talking about. Well, not a lot of people, but I've seen people talk about that Warren guy, and obviously PSG. We know they have a super team, but it's good to see that youngsters are still given a chance to perform or play, such as Warren, which again, I'm not really familiar with his game like that. He scored a goal though, that's all that matters, and hopefully we can just keep seeing him on the field. But we will see about that. Aside from that, we did see Barcelona against Real Betis, which our schedule is going to be very, very tough. Barcelona's schedule is going to be tough, but it's going into effect and it's working, and that's what we like to see. That is exactly what we like to see. We did see Rafinha score in this game in the 65th minute, which was assisted by Alejandro Balde, who again, it might have just been a simple tap in, but nonetheless, Alejandro Balde did amazing to just get into that left hand side and just slot a perfectly placed ball into Rafinha's path, which obviously Rafinha just had to tap it in, so it was easy go, easy come. Which again, Balde's development is just completely insane, and I don't think it's taken lightly whenever I say or whenever other people say that he's the best left back on that league. He has the crazy potential. I think he has Alfonso Davies like potential. He has everything, every single quality to be the best left back in the world, and I believe that with my heart. And the fact that we have him at Barcelona already is just crazy because again, with the fullback situation, We were always looking for that, always looking for that. Musa Wage didn't really work on the right back side, which is pretty bad because I actually liked him, but Alejandro Valdez just completely changed that, and I'm just so happy about it because we needed it. Jordi Alba obviously needing a replacement, but Jordi Alba still putting in a shift, so still not writing him off. But that competition there is crazy, and whoever's good enough, it's gonna get to play, and both of them are good at a good level. Obviously, Balde having the higher potential as he is younger, but Jordi Alba still has something to say. Rafinha as well, just doing amazing, and this was a game that we needed to win. Real Betis are not an easy opponent to face, and I know that we faced them a couple times already, but again, we got the win that was needed, and Rafinha got his goal, which again, I saw that in 2023, no other player has been more involved in goals than Rafinha. Again, I don't know if that's La Liga or actual the whole competitions or whatever, but if that's true, that is amazing. And I know that a lot of people are criticizing him for his performance being too one dimensional and not really providing anything. We paid 50 mil for him, and so far up to before had never shown, but it was shown this game, and I'm really glad that it was because I think that we were missing that type of flary player. I know we do have Dembele, but samba, dance, flair, Brazilian flair, we were missing it, and I'm glad that we have Rafinha on our side for it. Obviously, in the 80th minute, we have Robert Lewandowski, who scored the goal in the 80th minute, and obviously assisted by Ronald Araujo, which was just easy tap and easy come and easy serve. And again, amazing. What can you even say about it? Robert Lewandowski for us has been a complete revelation. Yes, he is old. Yes, he was 60 mil, but he's been getting the goals where it counts because we did not have that end product. We did not have that goal threat. Well, we did have Aubameyang, and he did work for a while. He was not. He was not a Lewandowski. He was not a in and out. Oh, he's gonna back 30 goals a season, because again, it's amazing. And yes, he got that 3 match ban or whatever, but this is what we were missing. There was an own goal in the end by Jules Koundé, which it just was unfortunate, I guess, because it is another goal that we conceded, and it is another clean sheet that is taken away from Ter Stegen. But it ended up happening, and oh well. Thankfully, it didn't cause a tie or anything. It just caused a goal to happen, and then William Carvalho ended up getting a red card in the 95th minute. But overall, I know our schedule is looking tough, but this is a very good game for us to win, as I know that we are separating ourselves from Real Madrid, which again works in perfectly. Works in perfectly. The next couple of games that we have, again, DFB Pokal being Leipzig against Hoffenheim, which Leipzig won 3-1, and then the Coppa Italia being Fiorentina against Torino, which ended up being 2-1. A whole lot of Ligue 1 games, which we'll just go a little bit over them and talk if there needs to be talk. Lille against Clermont ended 0-0. Marseille against Nantes, which ended up being 2-0. And then Ajaccio against Angers, which ended up being 2-1. Toulouse against Troyes, 4-1. Reims against Lorient, 4-2. Which I do want to talk about Reims. I don't know if I talked about it on my last video, but their manager, it's like unbeaten in like 7 or 8 games or 12, something. I can't remember the exact number, but it's crazy because stuff like this happens from people that just love the sport and love everything about it. In regards being that he was just playing Football Manager and really, really enjoyed that game to the point where it actually became a hobby. From a hobby, it became a desire, and from the desire, he was able to get himself a Reims coaching job, and now he's doing amazing. He's just doing. His story is completely unique, unlike anything I've ever heard. And he's just 30 years old, still does not have his license, younger than Messi and Ronaldo. And this guy is coaching in the Ligue 1 and getting results. They obviously beat Lorient 4-2 and just completely did well. obviously this is coming out a little later than when this game came out, but I want to see where they're seventh in the table, so they can potentially even challenge for a European competition, which would be amazing. But that's not it with this guy, as he's still getting his UEFA coaching license. Every single time that they play, Reims is getting charged 22 22,000 whatever the currency is. I don't know if it's dollars or whatnot, but 22,000 something euros maybe it might be. But they're getting charged, and it might just be well worth the money. I did a little bit of the calculations towards the end, and it's gonna come around 1 million. Which again, if they get European competition, I don't think it should matter because of how crazy it is. I know he's trying to obtain his license and whatnot, but it's just absolutely ridiculous that something like that can happen. And again, it just comes from people that love the sport. Reims winning 3-0 against Strasbourg, Monaco winning 3-2 against Auxerre, Brest and Lyon, Olympic Lyon tying 0-0, and then Nice actually getting a result against Lens, which Lens have fallen over a little bit in the results, getting ties and losses. Not too much to say, oh, it's actually worrying. They're in third, but obviously the title contention dropped down a little bit. And that's not to say that they didn't have chances. They did have chances. 9 shots, 4 on target, but the end product was just not there for them. However, again, I just think that their story was also like, what do you call it, underdoggy story. Nobody expected that from them, being title contenders, and obviously PSG are good, but they're not at their full strength. And now with just all the other stuff going on, I guess it just happens at some point. But yeah, that is what happened with the Ligue 1 games, match day 21st. And this was, of course, on Wednesday the 1st. And we then move on to Eredivisie, where Walwich beat Go Ahead Eagles 3-1. And then we also have the Liga BMX, this game, which was Atlas Toluca 0-0. Which again, I just like those leagues and like bringing it up at least just to see if we can create some sort of debate or some sort of love. And then if there's more in depth and people want me to talk about it, then sure, I can go ahead. But that is what happened there overall with that. We also saw Manchester United against Nottingham Forest, which again, the second set of semi-final for the EFL Cup, which we saw Manchester United just win the game very easy and shut it out, as they just won 2-0, with Anthony Martial scoring in the 73rd minute, assisted by Marcus Rashford, and then Marcus Rashford getting a second assist in the 76th minute, scored by Fred. Which again, they just got the result done on aggregate. It was 5-0. There was never any doubt with the form that they are right now. And it's just good to see that they're coming back on top, and hopefully they can win a trophy, as I feel like this whole turnaround is deserved of one. We will just see on that. We did see this second set of game of Coppa Italia with Fiorentina scoring 2-1, winning 2-1 against Torino, which again, that would just mean that they go into the semi-final. So we will have to see who their opponent is later on. Aside from this, we also saw the FIFA World Cup start, which again, not a lot of people pay attention to the FIFA World Cup, at least not in terms of the first couple of rounds. I can say that I didn't. I recently got in it because of a video I watched, which again, didn't sponsor or anything. I just really liked the channel and the video, and they're growing, which is nice. It's called The Give and Go, which is an amazing podcast by just two people and the producer, and they're doing bits. They're doing amazing, and they always talk about underdogs. One of the reasons why I wanted to start this, they're amazing, and yeah, they talked about this, and it really got me hooked. As we then see Ahly against Auckland, which Ahly won 3-0, which was just a straightforward, easy game in that regard. But yeah, again, FIFA World Cup is not really in anybody else's minds, but it's a FIFA World Cup. Everybody that wins the UEFA just plays in it, and the whole concept's gonna change. But this is a really cool way of doing it. Um, and yeah, it's just sick. It's just very very cool. And obviously, I know that Madrid are on it. They could win it. They could win a trophy. Them being the current holders of most of them, I'm pretty sure. However, yeah, we see that happen, and I think that's it for Wednesday. We then move on to Thursday, in which we have Real Madrid play against Valencia, which they won 2-0. And I'm pretty sure Vinny and Benzema scored on this game. Oh no, 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 Asensio scored. Karim Benzema getting the assist, and then Karim Benzema getting a second assist, where Vinicius also scored. And again, they shut the game down. It did take them a while. The goals came after the first half. Paulista getting a red card in the 72nd minute. And yeah, nothing too more interesting. Just a very dominant Madrid against a poor Valencia that is now in that relegation zone. And I mean, what can even be said? Obviously, Madrid, they haven't been in the best of forms ever since that World Cup, but they still have class players in my opinion, and they can still do a full turnaround of the season if they wanted to, and if we did it horrible, which we're known to do, but hopefully we don't. But it always happens, and we will just have to see what happens. We move on to Coppa Italia, in which Juventus won 1-0 against Lazio. Again, quarterfinal against Juventus, got the point deduction, but this is good, and if they can get a cup out of this season, it's gonna be good. They won because of a goal scored by Bremer, which, again, I don't know if it was a still match or not. I did not get a chance to catch it. However, Juventus need a cup, and I think this is a good cup, a Coppa Italia to win in a season where a lot has happened. It can be good for them, the fans, and just overall the morale of the players. As let's just hope none of them end up leaving or worse stuff is to come. But that is what happened. We have another Liga BBMA, which was San Luis against Puebla, which ended 2-0. Match day fit. So not a lot of whole action on Thursday in terms of any other games, but those are the ones that I'm seeing right here, and that's how they end. We then move on to Friday the 3rd, and we see Athletic Club against Cadiz, which Athletic Club won 4-1. Very very easy game, very straightforward, and just absolutely killed them, which I'm pretty sure Oihan Sanset, who is a future player to watch for this team, scored a hat trick. Yes, he did get a hat trick, scoring the 10th, the 35th, and finally the 75th minute, getting his hat trick, and Yeray Alvarez scoring the 44th. And again, Sunset, like I said, future player. Obviously, we know Iñaki Williams is there, and he's going to remain there as he has a 9-year deal. And we just see Sunset, another future talent of this team, come in and just perform, score a hat trick, obviously. And yeah, what else can be said? Obviously, Cadiz sitting in relegation, so an Athletic Club were are having a good season. It could be better, but they're having a good season, and you just like to see it. I know that Iñaki Williams' streak got broken in this game because he had I don't know if it was serious, but he had a minor injury, and his streak got broken, which again, starting the whole 200 and whatever games, which was just crazy, and it got broken unfortunately. But it just happened, I suppose. But I don't even know if anybody's gonna ever be able to break that again, as he was an in and out starter every single game that they played, and it's just good to see that. It's good to see that. We did see Al Nassr against Al Fateh, who I can't lie, I don't keep up with it, but I like to keep up with it just because of Ronaldo. Not to talk down on him or anything, just because I want to see how he's doing. The game ended 2-2. Talisca, who is again another main man for this Al Nassr team, scoring in the 42nd minute. And then Ronaldo actually did score on this game, which was his first actual goal in the league, being in the 93rd, which he scored a penalty. And again, say what you say about him. He contributed to that match, and he just ended up getting a goal, but that happened. We also saw the return of the Premier League, in which match day 22nd we see Chelsea against Fulham, which again all of Chelsea signings came in straight off the back, and we did see, I think Mudryk started for this game, and then who else? Enzo Fernandez as well started, and yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the two main starters. But yeah, Chile has been starting, so yeah, those are the two main starters. Fulham obviously being on top, and Chelsea looking to get ahead, but it didn't happen as they both tied one. Chelsea had the most chances, while Fulham had the most shots on target. However, none of them managed to find their way into the back of the net, and hopefully Chelsea can just develop their people and just turn it up, because I do think some of the players that they got are absolutely ridiculous in terms of how good they are and can be. But yeah, in terms of that, that was it. The Premier League, I'm pretty sure there wasn't any more games. We also did see a Eredivisie game, Fortuna Sparta 0-0. And then we also saw Bundesliga, which Leverkusen got beat by Augsburg, which ended up being 1-0. And then in the Mexican League, we saw Necaxa against Tijuana tying 1-1. And then FC Juarez winning 3-2 against Mazatlan. Which again, just the games ended like that. Again, not too much excitement, not too much going on. And that just leaves us with the rest of the weekend. But I'll leave that for now. Edson in the future, change that. We will see. And I will be back.